Ferrari Joe could still face death penalty when case outcome is later reviewed by the Court of Appeal. The Ferrari Joe case involving the torture and murder of a 24-year-old drug suspect in police custody on August 5 last in Nakhon Sawan shocked and horrified Thailand. The case raised unsettling questions about the sense of impunity which drove the city police chief and his subordinates to act in the way they did. Later revelations about the mid-level young policeman's extraordinary wealth also painted a disturbing picture. Ferrari Joe and his subordinates, whose fate was relayed to them last week by a court verdict in Bangkok to the city's central prison, could still face a death sentence in a review by the Court of Appeal after 6 of the 7 men, including Police Colonel Thitisan Uthanaphan, received a life sentence for the murder under torture of drug suspect Jirapong Thanapat in Nakhon Sawan on August 5 last. That is according to Ithaporn Kathip, an official at the Office of the Attorney General, who told reporters last Thursday that the verdict and judgment in the case cannot yet be considered final. The former police chief in the city of Nakhon Sawan, Police Colonel Thitisan Uthanaphan or Ferrari Joe, and 6 of his subordinates had the verdict of the court in Bangkok relayed to them on Wednesday last, which saw 6 of them receive the death sentence, which was immediately commuted to life in prison, while one former officer received 5 years and 4 months for failure to perform his official duties via a teleconference facility at the city's infamous Bangkok Central Prison. This was followed by a statement from an official at the Office of the Attorney General, who explained to reporters that the judgment, in this case, is not yet finalized, as even if the defendants do not appeal the verdict, it is still likely to be reviewed by the Court of Appeal as a matter of procedure. On Wednesday last, the 8th of June, the Central Criminal Court for Corruption and Misconduct Cases sitting at Railway Road in Bangkok read out its judgment and verdict at the conclusion of the trial of former Police Colonel Thitisan Uthanaphan and 6 other officers before the court on charges of intentional killing a drug suspect at Nakhon Sawan police station in the centre of Nakhon Sawan between August 4 and August 6 last year. The case of Ferrari Joe, the 31-year-old policeman who had risen quickly through the ranks while at the same time amassing a fortune reported to be 600 million Thailand bahts, including expensive real estate and 42 luxury cars, has fascinated and appalled both the Thai public and foreigners outside the kingdom since the heinous and brutal killing of 24-year-old Jirapong Thanapat, a small-time drug dealer in Nakhon Sawan, was seen in a leaked video that went viral nearly 3 weeks after the killing, sparking outrage. Horrific torture video shows officer fastening 7 plastic bags to the victim's neck and hitting him. The video showed the senior police officer at Nakhon Sawan police station personally covering the handcuffed suspect's head with 7 plastic bags and precisely taping the coverings to his victim's neck so that the tormented younger man subsequently died from suffocation. In another part of the video, the suspect is seen being assaulted. After he became unresponsive, Mr. Jirapong was subsequently rushed to the local Sawanprakarak hospital, where attempts were made to revive him but to no avail. He was declared dead. Revealing details of what he says happened at Nakhon Sawan police station on Thursday, August 5 last. Afterwards, a preliminary medical opinion was issued citing a possible drug overdose as the cause of death, sparking a probe into police efforts to cover up the matter. Full autopsy later showed conclusively that Mr. Jirapong had died from asphyxiation during ordeal. A full autopsy, conducted later, showed that Mr. Jirapong died from asphyxiation while under the personal interrogation of Police Colonel Thitisan. The video clip that went viral was accompanied by credible reports suggesting that the former commanding officer at Nakhon Sawan police station had been attempting to extort 2 million Thailand bahts in a bribe from the suspect after he had already agreed to pay over 1 million Thailand bahts to secure the release of himself and his wife or girlfriend, who was also being held in custody. Both had been arrested reportedly on Wednesday, August 4, with over 100,000 methamphetamine pills. The torture inflicted on the suspect is believed to have taken place in an interrogation room within Nakhon Sawan police station. Ferrari Joe, arrested by police, accuses the media of slandering him, says it made him feel suicidal on the run. After the video of the incident went viral throughout Thailand when it was released by well-known lawyers and activists, unprecedented public outcry and revulsion over the affair spread on social media. Police top brass in Bangkok ordered a full probe and sent officers to Nakhon Sawan to get to the bottom of the outrage despite an attempted cover-up. National Police Commissioner General Suwat Jangyidsak promptly ordered a rigorous and thorough inquiry with senior officers dispatched to Nakhon Sawan from Royal Thai Police Headquarters, who quickly determined the nature of the crime and efforts made locally by Police Colonel Thitison and his subordinates to cover it up. At one point, the city police chief was declared a fugitive on the run before quickly surrendering to a police officer in Chonburi on August 26, 2021. After this, the reviled former top cop attended a press conference hosted by police top brass in Bangkok, where he attempted to defend his actions, suggesting he did not intend to kill the suspected drug dealer but was only trying to elicit intelligence from him by applying force. He said that Mr. Jirapong's death was simply an accident after he had gone too far in interrogating the arrested man. "I did not intend to kill him," he told reporters. "I intended to get the information so I can destroy the drug business." This position was later taken up by Police Colonel Thitison's lawyers in court in March, when he claimed that his client was guilty only of assault on a criminal suspect while in custody. Spectre of police impunity and corruption raised. The case of Police Colonel Thitison, or Ferrari Joe, has also raised the spectre of police corruption, with reports in Parliament last year alleging senior police in the province were complicit in high-level drug dealing operations from within the Golden Triangle. The August 2021 video, which led to Ferrari Joe's downfall, showed a group of officers involved in the abuse of a suspect, also spoke to a sense of impunity within the force when dealing with criminal types. Golden Triangle drugs threat aired in Parliament, claims of senior police officers being involved in trafficking. These concerns were raised even further when police, investigating Police Colonel Thitison, raided a 60 million Thailand bahts mansion on 5 rai of land with servants in the Ramintra area of Bangkok, where they found 13 luxury cars valued at 100 million Thailand bahts and further evidence of unusual wealth. Ferrari Joe, arrested by police, accuses the media of slandering him, says it made him feel suicidal on the run. Public disquiet about how a mid-level police officer on a salary of only 40,000 Thailand bahts a month could have attained such wealth later led to an unusual press conference given by a Mr. Patra Anantasilpa, the director of the Thai Customs Department within the Ministry of Finance. This official told reporters that the 31-year-old policeman had been a key figure in the seizure of some 368 luxury cars in Thailand, which netted the state approximately 1 billion Thailand bahts, with only 5 of the cars remaining unsold. Prosecuted for the intentional killing or murder of 24-year-old Jirapong Thanapat involving torture. The charges brought against Police Colonel Thitison and his subordinate officers were laid under Section 289(5) of the Thai Criminal Code for murder or the intentional killing of Mr. Jirapong using torture. The court, on Wednesday last, found Police Colonel Thitison and 5 of the other defendants guilty of murdering Mr. Jirapong in custody. The 6 men were sentenced to death for the crime, with the 7th defendant getting 8 years for failing to perform his duty or negligence under Section 157 of the Criminal Code, thereby causing harm or injury to others. This was reduced to 5 years and 4 months due to the officer's testimony to the court. The court found that the payment by Police Colonel Thitison and other accused officers to the family of the victim, reported to have been 300,000 Thailand bahts and a further 30,000 Thailand bahts concerning the funeral expenses, to have been a mitigating factor and commuted the death sentence to life imprisonment. Father of victim, who initially believed his son died in an accident, at the court in Bangkok last week. Outside the court on Wednesday last, the reaction of the father of the victim, Naveen Thanapat, who initially accepted the explanation offered by the now convicted former police chief, that his son had died as the result of an accident, was one of sadness. All 7 officers should learn their lesson and pay for their crime, he told the AFP news agency. Mr. Naveen told reporters that while watching the judgment being given by the court, which was relayed by video conference facility to the defendants being held at Bangkok Central Prison or Bang Kwon Prison, also known infamously to foreigners as the Bangkok Hilton, he felt helpless and his wife began to cry during the proceedings. It is understood that Mr. Naveen will now pursue a civil case against the state over his son's death, seeking damages and compensation. The court did not award the family of the victim compensation directly last week. A spokesman for the Office of Attorney General said that the parents who are believed to be taking the case as joint plaintiffs must now sue the government in relation to the matter under a law which allows for compensation to be awarded when officials violate their oaths and fail to perform their duties or cause damage to others. Judgment in relation to this case has not yet been finalized, according to an Office of the Attorney General official who says the case will be reviewed. On Thursday, Mr. Ithapurn Kathip of the Office of the Attorney General explained to reporters that the application of the death penalty by the court was in accordance with what the prosecution had requested, but that the substitution of this with life imprisonment was something which was within the court's discretion depending on the circumstances. Mr. Ithapurn pointed out, however, that even if the defendants in the matter do not appeal Wednesday's decision, it is normal for the Court of Appeal to review the verdict and the sentence imposed as a matter of procedure. Therefore, he warned this judgment should not yet be considered finalized. Only if the Court of Appeal confirms the life imprisonment sentence and the defendants fail to appeal will the case be finalized, meaning that a death sentence can still be imposed. An appeal by the defendants in the case is also, of course, a possibility.